Hello, can everyone hear me? Happy Halloween, everybody. I'm just doing a quick and dirty live stream here with my cell phone and a cell phone adapter on the telescope. And I'm just trying to get things adjusted here. What in the world? How do you... Oof, I don't like these filters. Is there a way I can just, control the brightness and contrast on YouTube live streaming? Enable flash? No, that's not what I want. Okay, well, I'm not too happy with the lack of settings on live streaming here. It's really tough to see Saturn on for me. I don't know how it is for you guys. My cell phone camera was picking it up better on its own using the built-in camera application. YouTube live streaming doesn't really offer me the granularity of controls that I really need to see what I'm doing. I can't even do a pinch zoom? I guess I did. I don't know. I think I just did something. Get Saturn back in here. It's at the edge of the eyepiece. Come back. Okay. So I was showing the trick-or-treaters Saturn as they came by to get their candy tonight. I think they're pretty much done at this point. I haven't seen anybody in a while. So I figured before I tear down the telescope, why not stream the view for a bit? Again, I really hate these filter options here. Doesn't really pop. Okay. Glow? I don't know. Trying different filters. Pop, I guess, makes it pop a bit. Of course, anytime I tap the screen trying to control something, like turn on the chat, it shakes the camera. So there's that issue. Yeah, it's a shame YouTube doesn't have access to the Pro mode. That would have been much better. Because I was getting much better video with the Pro mode on the camera. Let me see if I can view my own stream on my tablet. Yeah, it's there, but it's not my best view of Saturn ever. Granted, there's going to be some quality loss because I am streaming with a cell phone adapter attached to a 7.5mm eyepiece, which is not ideal. I know, the focus is terrible. It's really tough for me to see on the phone screen when I'm in focus or even getting closer to focus versus further away. Was not as hard with the camera's Pro mode, but I get the feeling this thing isn't even defaulting to the highest possible ISO or anything. It doesn't really know what it's doing in terms of manipulating the exposure and ISO settings on the camera, and it doesn't let me take over. So you get what you get, and you have to live with it, which is disappointing because, like I said, I was getting much better video with the camera's Pro mode. I guess that's not too bad there, considering. And I know it's in portrait. I can't get the camera to rotate. I can rotate the phone, but because of the angle of the telescope, Saturn's getting low in the southwest, so the phone doesn't think that it's rotated, even though I rotated the camera. The sensors just aren't picking that up properly, so I can't actually stream in landscape mode. It gave me the prompt to rotate the phone to go into landscape mode, and no matter how much I rotated it, it would not go into landscape mode. So, yeah, that's what this is. This is me being lazy and just streaming with the phone instead of setting up the proper camera and the computer and all of that. But yeah, it seems like some of you guys are enjoying it here. Atmosphere is boiling pretty good. Yeah, and it's exacerbated, I think, by the quality of the eyepiece optics. Normally, I would be doing this with a camera at prime focus, a Samsung SDC 435. It works pretty good for planetary imaging, and I wouldn't have an eyepiece in the image train. So the more glass you have in the image train, the more opportunities for photons to get messed about with. You can get chromatic aberration, you can get some scattering, and so you end up with a lower quality image pretty much all of the time than if you had just done prime focus photography, which is what I normally do. But for quick and easy for tonight, this works well enough. Yeah, I think if I turned off auto rotate, it would stay in portrait instead of going landscape, because the phone will default to the portrait if you turn off auto rotate, and that's at least on interactions and other apps and stuff. It seems to default to portrait, so I don't think that would work. Yes, I have an 8-inch Meade Alex 200 Classic, old school, pre-AutoStar, the old Magellan computer system built into it. Jupiter's still low in the southwest. I could do that too. I don't think it would look terribly good. It's pretty low down there. We've got a crescent moon. Could zoom over to that. And yeah, this is from Florida. So I won't be streaming for too terribly long tonight. It's going to be a pretty short stream. For one thing, there's only so much quality I can squeeze out of having a cell phone adapter on an eyepiece. For another thing, I would like to try and get Comet Borisov early tomorrow morning, if everything goes well. So I'm going to need to get some sleep here pretty soon, actually, because I'm going to have to wake up extra early to set all this equipment back up, polar align it, and go for Comet Borisov. Right now the scope is Altaz aligned, so I would have to take it down anyway and put it into polar alignment configuration to do long exposures on the comet. So we're going to try to track the comet again. I did that, gosh, over a month ago, and didn't get it. Uh, it was in the scope was in the right location, tracking fine with my software. I stacked the images based on where the comet should be, and it still didn't pull anything out of the noise. It was just too dim for my scope, too low and too dim. At this point, it's going to be a bit higher and a bit brighter, so hopefully we'll have better luck. Still, it's going to be difficult detection. We're talking, magnitude 16 probably, if not dimmer, and that is extremely dim. That is many, many orders of magnitude dimmer than anything you can see by eye. So no, you can't see it by eye, or even in most telescopes. If I just plugged an eyepiece into this telescope and tried to look for the comet, I would not see it with my eye. But with a camera and long exposures and all of that, hopefully we can get the comet. Yeah, I wish I could up the ISO and catch some moons. I did see Titan off of Saturn tonight in the eyepiece, but it won't let me adjust the settings. YouTube's just going to do what it does, and it's got control of my camera. It doesn't let me actually manually set the settings for the camera. I can go into, well, I can't even go into any settings here. I can enable flash. That's my setting. I can turn on the flash. That's not going to do me any good. So, um, have I ever tried to shoot the moon and sun as it passes through the geosynchronous satellite plane, see if anything can be seen transiting? No, BM Furball, I don't think I have ever seen a geosynchronous satellite. The thing about that is I think it comes down to the same reason you can't see the equipment left on the moon. It's one thing to see a bright spot of a geosynchronous satellite silhouetted against the darkness of space, right? You can see it as a point light source. And it would be illuminated going across the moon, so maybe you could see it illuminated if you were getting it maybe going across the Earthshine or darkened side of the moon, right? Because it's crescent phase right now, for example. So yeah, maybe it would be bright enough to be seen against Earthshine. That's possible, theoretically, I think. However, if the geosynchronous satellite is in Earth's shadow and trying to see it silhouetted against the moon, the problem is it's too small. It's smaller than anything the telescope can resolve because it's too far out. So you won't see it. It's the same reason you can't see the pieces of equipment left on the moon. Even if they were darker or brighter than the lunar surface, they're too small to resolve. You might see a geosynchronous satellite occult a star where it winks out, but it's not going to really be able to occult. The moon's not a point-like light source. It's an extended light source. It's not going to really be able to occult any point-like light sources. But yeah, you might be able to see it when it's illuminated as a star-like object transiting across the darkened side of the moon. That would be an interesting project to try to do that, actually. A bit of a challenge to do that. Some geosynchronous satellites are exceptionally large from what I've heard. These are all rumors and speculation, sort of, from third-party sources. But when amateurs track classified satellites, some of the classified satellites that are there for intelligence and electronic signals gathering operations in geosynchronous orbit can be exceptionally large. They have these fold-out antennas that, from what I've heard, can be as large as the entire International Space Station in terms of their diameter, because of the way they fold out and unfold and come up with these huge dishes to be able to intercept radio signals. If you could see one of those, maybe. Even then, I don't think my telescope would have the resolving power to pick it up as more than a point-like light source, but maybe. That's about the limit of what you could do. So maybe something like that could be seen silhouetted against the moon. But those satellites, at least for the U.S., they tend to be positioned on the other side of the world to intercept, other nations' communications. I don't know of any that are positioned over the U.S. There might be one. I don't know. So that's about the limit of what you could do there. The focal length of the telescope is 2,000 millimeters, and I've got a 2x Barlow, so it's effectively an effective focal length of 4,000 millimeters, or an effective focal length of 4 meters. And I think I've got a 7.5 millimeter eyepiece on there right now. Anyway, it's higher magnification than a P1000, I'm pretty sure. Now, I can't even get the view to zoom in on the phone. Like, I could do a little digital zoom with a pinch and finger pinch on the phone with the regular camera and really zoom in on Saturn and see some details there, but it won't let me do that on the YouTube app, so I get what I get. Yeah, it's an f10 scope, and I've got the 2x Barlow on there. So it is cropped zoom, but lower quality than a P1000. Well, no, the telescope's much higher quality than a P1000. And like I said, the zoom is 4,000 millimeters right now, true focal length, no crop zoom. And this is an uncropped view. And like I said, I've got the 7.5 millimeter eyepiece on there. So what is 2,000 divided by 7.5? So 266 magnification times 2 for the 2x Barlow. So it's an effective magnification of 533, which is phenomenal. Yeah, P1000 is 3,000 millimeter optical, and I think they kind of cheated. I think that's with the crop factor. It's effectively 3,000 millimeter because it's a tiny sensor. If I remember right, the true focal length, 3,000 millimeters, is 3 meters. The lens would have to be 3 meters long, or about 9 feet, to achieve 3,000 true millimeters of optical focal length, and that's not the case. It's not a folded optic. It's not like they got mirrors in there that are bouncing light back and forth like a telescope. It's not a catadioptric or anything. So it would have to be 3 meters long, and it's very clearly not. So they kind of cheat, but don't tell Red I said that. I think what they're doing is they're applying a little bit of fuzzy math from taking the sensor and saying, well, the apparent magnification is the same as a 3,000 millimeter lens if you had a 35 millimeter sensor, but you don't. You have a small sensor, and so it makes everything look like it's more zoomed in. It's like if I put a small sensor like the Samsung SDC 435 on here, it makes it look like there's more magnification than there really is, because it's a small sensor. But again, don't tell Red's Rhetoric I said that. He'll kill me. Thankfully, I don't think he's in the chat right now, so I'm safe. Yeah, and at this point, Saturn's probably less than 30 degrees above the horizon, so keep that in mind too. It's not great season. It's not a great time of year to see Saturn right now, especially from the northern hemisphere. But it was available in the southwest here after sunset, so perfect for trick-or-treaters coming by. One kid couldn't believe what he was seeing. He asked me, "Is that really Saturn?" I think he thought I was faking it. But the thing was, he wasn't looking on my phone. He was actually looking through the eyepiece, in person. So yeah, no, that was real. It's just glass between you and Saturn. Well, like I said, the P1000 has got a serious crop factor going on there, and also I'm in landscape mode, or portrait mode as opposed to landscape mode, and I think that's crunching it. That's making it look smaller in the stream than it actually is in the video of the camera. So it's actually shrinking my video, I think. So, yeah. Sorry, if I had my actual main planetary imaging camera out, the Samsung SDC 435, and I had my laptop and I had my streaming set up the way it ought to be, you would see Saturn even larger. All right, quickly, before the moon completely sets, it's going below the power lines at this point. Let me zoom over to the moon and we'll take a quick close-up look at some of the craters. Okay, so you can see where the actual eyepiece opening aperture is. Let's see if we can try to fix this. Whoop. There we go. That's better. So yeah, you can see the chromatic aberration of the eyepiece there. Another reason not to do this with a cell phone adapter and an eyepiece. You don't get the best quality. You get much better quality from prime focus photography. But this is the quick and easy solution for the evening. Looking for those moon aliens on Halloween. Peeking in those craters. Seeing those central peaks. Hey, I know a lot of YouTube channels that make good ad money profiting from selling central peaks inside craters as crashed UFOs. And yeah, you can see the effect of the atmosphere. The moon is quite low at this point, and the atmosphere is quite turbulent. Still very warm here in Florida for this time of year. Alright, let's take the Barlow off for a second. So bear with me, it'll go black for a few seconds here. Let me take the Barlow off. And we'll go with less magnification now. Which will hopefully give a clearer view since we are dealing with a lot of atmosphere. Okay, wrong way with the focus. Right way, too far. Yeah, that's not bad. Mayor Christian. Oh, good grief. Truth is truth. No, I'm not going to buy a P1000. I don't need to use the eyepiece. This is just me being lazy, okay? I can get a much better view with my Samsung or with my Canon than I can with a P1000. This is my phone, okay? This is just what I'm doing with a cell phone and an eyepiece holder, okay? That's all I'm using tonight. This is... I know it's not the best quality, but this is just a quick and easy stream, because, hey, why not? Before I take the telescope down, why not just do this real quick? You can go back and look at some of my previous streams if you want to see higher quality video of the moon, and Saturn for that matter. mean, what do you guys think in the chat? Let me know. Should I, when I have an opportunity to do a quick, easy live stream with my phone, and there's planets like Saturn and there's the moon out, do you guys appreciate me doing this for you guys, or would you rather I just save it for when I actually have time to haul all of the high quality equipment out? Truth is truth. I just explained I'm not using my highest quality equipment. This is not the limit of what this telescope can do. This is just a taste of what it can do. This is just the tip of the iceberg of what it can do. This is just me using a cell phone and an eyepiece adapter with the cell phone to get the lowest quality possible video, but the fastest video out to YouTube. Sam says phone works fine for him. Me and my Piper 73 says they love this. Thank you. More is always better, says Luke. Unlimited cheese, forbidden. Great to see live. See, I think most people are happy, even if it's not the best quality view. If it's just, you know, quick, simple view. Just because I have the opportunity to. I think most people are happy with that. Yeah, I mean, this is a Samsung Galaxy S6. Okay, this is like a 10-year-old phone. Well, maybe not. Might be 10 years. I don't know. When did the S6 come out? A long time ago. So, you know, old phone, through a cruddy eyepiece, just a Plossl eyepiece, and this is not prime focus astrophotography here. This is staring a cell phone through an eyepiece. This is, you know, low quality, low effort stuff, really low effort stuff, full admission, low effort. But I have much higher effort and much higher quality stuff on the channel. You can go check out my 4K video of the latest total lunar eclipse. I got some really good video of totality with my Canon. So go check that out. I am an astronomy guy, but I'm also an average Joe. And I'm just, I just thought you guys might like to see some extra video on Halloween that I had the opportunity to share. It's not the highest quality effort, but sometimes people like to see the simple stuff and what you can do with, you know, what you might already have on hand. See, that's the fun thing about this, is yeah, I can pull out my $3,000 deep space camera and go crazy shooting nebula that you can't even see by eye through the eyepiece. I can do all that, sure. But, and there's a time and place for that, and there's definitely a demand for that, because not everyone has access to that kind of equipment, so it's nice to be able to share it. But it's also nice to be able to share what you could expect to see with things you might already have on hand, like your eyepiece, your cell phone. What can you do with that, you know? Maybe you don't have a proper astrophotography rig, but you have a telescope and you've got a cell phone. Well, here's what you can do with that. It doesn't take much effort. It doesn't take much expense. You might already have what you need on hand to do this. So I can show both ends of the price spectrum. I'll be humble, but Al can flex. Yeah, I can flex. Okay. Okay, I have to ask, truth is truth. I didn't want to go there, but I'm starting to get the feeling there are some ulterior motives in the chat right now. And I happen to know that the P1000 is the flat earth camera of choice, as my friend Red's Rhetoric likes to say. It used to be the P900, now it's the P1000. So I did want to assume, but since I can't seem to get my point across that, yeah, I admit this is not my highest quality effort. This is just, you know, random opportunity to stream some simple video. Truth is truth. Are you a flat earther? Is that what this is? Is that what this is about? I mean, if you are, it's fine. I'm not gonna lay into you, but I'm just curious. I'm trying to understand what your motivation is here. Yeah, I mean, a P1000 is a great camera for a bridge camera, and it can get some amazing video. Heck, Red's Rhetoric used it to shoot the Arabsat 6A launch from start to finish, just like I did with my LX200. He got video end-to-end of launch through landing, and that's not easy to do. I know, because yeah, I've only done that a couple of times. It's really, really difficult to do. You have to have perfect conditions, and you have to have really good equipment. I think he, myself, and U.S. Launch Report are the only 3 groups or people that have ever done that outside the professional community, outside of, you know, the professional trackers that SpaceX uses. So I know the P1000 can be a great camera, but it does have its limitations. It can't do things like image the black hole jet in the Galaxy M87. I've done that with this telescope and my deep space camera. It requires extremely long exposures, extremely good sensitivity, extremely low noise on the camera, and it helps to have an adaptive optics unit, which I also have, but I'm not using tonight, because you can't use the adaptive optics unit with a cell phone. You know, this is just me being simple tonight. What is a flat earther? Doesn't everyone believe in infinite space? Asks Truth is Truth. Infinite space? I don't see what that has to do with flat earth. Flat earth is about the shape of the earth, whether the earth is, you know, a flat plane or not. Okay, I'm gonna have to do some digging. Let's do some digging here. A little on-the-spot investigation. Go to channel. Doesn't have any content. Yeah, that's questionable. Maybe not a flat earther, maybe just a run-of-the-mill troll? I don't know. Anyway. Great question, Blue. Yeah, get Reds to come in. He likes poking flatheads. I think he must be busy, or he'd already be in here by now, slamming me for disparaging the P1000. In fact, maybe that's him. That's it. That's what it is. Red's Rhetoric came in under a sock account called Truth is Truth to pretend to be a flat earther, and he's mocking me because I criticized his P1000. That's my theory, and I'm sticking to it. Never criticize the P1000. See? Theory confirmed. It's red. He didn't deny. You guys saw that. He didn't deny. I like that right at the edge of the Terminator. You can see how some of the hills at the edges of craters and such stick up into the sunlight and kind of look like beads sticking out into the black. And these hills at the edge of the moon also cause the Bailey's beads phenomenon during a total solar eclipse, where the sun's light will pass in the last few seconds, pass through the valleys between mountains at the edge of the moon, and you can see this beating effect at the edge of the sun as it's about to go into totality and just coming out of totality. And I tell you what, that was an incredible thing to witness in 2017 during the total solar eclipse, the Great American Eclipse, which I witnessed from Wyoming, Fort Fetterman. Alright, gang, I'm going to wrap it up here. The moon's going to be hitting the trees pretty soon anyway. And going to get stuff torn down and turn in early tonight so I can try to be up early in the morning if the weather is good. We'll have another live stream, a proper live stream with high quality camera equipment, the ST2000, and try to capture the Comet Borisov, the interstellar comet passing through our solar system right now. It has an extremely hyperbolic orbit, so it is not bound to our sun. It's not from around here. Its velocity indicates it didn't get that way through gravitational interactions with our solar system. It's coming through and it's on its way out, or it will be on its way out, and then never to return again. So a little interstellar visitor discovered by an amateur astronomer, no less. So it's very dim. Won't be a big, beautiful, bright comet or anything. It'll be a challenge just to detect it, but I do want to get some images of it because it's extremely rare to see an interstellar object. This is only the second one humans have ever discovered and confirmed. So that'll be cool to see, even if it is faint and small. It's definitely something you couldn't see with a P1000, I guarantee you that. So, hope you all have a happy Halloween, and for those of you who can join me, check back on my channel tomorrow morning, say around 5 a.m. Eastern, and hopefully we'll have ourselves a comet in the view. Thanks for watching, and clear skies, folks.